Hi, Ronak Sarkar here from Book Connect. I'm here today to give you a quick overview of Thema Subject Coding, what it is, and how it can help you reach a wider audience and sell more books. This information applies whether you're a Book Connect customer or not. However, at the end, I will be demoing new features that allow Book Connect customers to adopt Thema today. Let's get started. So first off, you may be saying, oh great, another subject coding system, more data entry, another job. Don't we already have subject coding systems? Don't we have BISAC subject codes and BIC codes in the UK, EuroVoc and Amazon categories, and even the Dewey Decimal System? Do we really need another subject coding scheme? Well, Thema is about slowly bringing everything back around a single coding scheme. Each of these codes is either regional, like BISAC in North America, BIC in the UK, EuroVoc in the EU, or for a particular customer like Amazon, or a particular purpose like libraries. Thema is really about generating a strong international system that will allow customers all over the world to connect consistently with your book's subject matter. It is already translated into 25 languages and is managed by the team at Editor, the folks who have successfully brought Onyx to the industry. In order to understand Thema coding and why it works as it does, it's good to compare to BISAC. So here is a BISAC code. Like every BISAC code, it consists of 9 characters. It begins with a 3-letter category, FIC for fiction, followed by 6 numbers. The next 3 numbers can be used to indicate subcategories. In this specific case, 014 corresponds to the category historical, while 070 represents colonial America and revolution. The Thema coding system has 3 important features I want to explain. The first is variable length codes. Unlike BISAC, Thema codes can be any length from a minimum of 2 characters. For instance, here's the Thema code for Zen Buddhism, QRF-B23. Each letter represents a level of granularity, and each subcode is a valid code unto itself. Q for philosophy and religion, QR for religion and beliefs, and on from there. This is very powerful, as longer codes include all their shorter parents. Booksellers not only have one code, but a hierarchy of classifications. For example, this code includes the QRF code for Buddhism. You should always use the longest code possible because of this feature of covering all the smaller possibilities. Well, that brings us to our next point, qualifiers. In Thema, there are 2 kinds of codes, subject categories and qualifiers. All subject categories start with a letter, and all qualifiers start with a number. Depending on the first number, qualifiers fall into one of 6 areas. Let's take the place qualifier for Chicago, 1K BBUS MLCC. If we break this down like we did with Zen Buddhism, we see that this code goes down 8 levels of granularity, a smaller and smaller place in the world. IKBBUSM represents the US Midwest. So if we look for all books starting with this code, we find all Midwest books, including, of course, books about Chicago. Thema requires that we still have subject codes, as booksellers organize by subject and then qualifiers, but qualifiers are much cleaner. So doesn't that mean there will be more codes? That leads us to our last point. More codes are good. Because subject categories need to be broken out into qualifiers, stacking up multiple Thema codes where BISAC may have only one is the norm. This makes a classification much more precise. Let's return to our earlier example of colonial America and revolution historical fiction. The default corresponding Thema would produce 4 codes, FV, 1KBB, 3MGUSA, and 3MLQUSB. None of this is very precise. The place, America, is very nonspecific, and the time span is almost 200 years. But those are limitations of the BISAC code it was based on. If you knew a more specific place, maybe around Boston, you could easily fine-tune these qualifiers. The point is, the 4 codes are actually a lot better than 1, which is something that Book Connect tools will help you organize and control. And that concludes part 1 of our Book Connect tutorial on Thema. I hope it's been a good high-level overview. Part 2, we'll look at the actual features in Book Connect that allow you to leverage your BISAC and fine-tune your Thema. Thanks for watching.